Hello, design students. This video is all about layers. So here is a great piece of artwork by Ryan McGinnis that shows a lot of overlapping, creating a lot of visual interest. You're going to see transparency, things kind of like coming through each other. And that's what layering is all about. You're going to see layering in a lot of natural elements as well as design elements. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of layers. This is a collage by Romare Bearden, who is really well known for his collages and his layering processes. So he does physical layers where he does these like kind of cutouts, and then he creates scenes out of found photographs and patterns and things like that, and pastes them on top of each other to tell a story. Now, this is an example of layering as well. Jackson Pollock is a pretty famous painter who is well known for his drip paintings. And he layers his paint on top of each other to create these kind of like textures, right? So there's definitely visual layers, there are physical layers, and there's that texture that I'm going to go more into later. So this is transparency. You can definitely take transparency in a lot of different ways. This one in particular is physical transparency that you will see in a lot of different types of materials. Okay, so when light passes through a certain kind of material, and of course we're focusing on flat materials like fabrics, maybe pieces of plastics, and things like that, you can definitely take advantage of that and use layering to create and show off that transparency. We have perceptual transparency where you actually have an opaque object, and opaque means that it's not transparent. It doesn't really let light shine through it. But the way that it's painted or it's printed on, it gives that illusion that there is transparency going on with the amount of ink that they're using or with the colors that they're using. Okay, so here you see things like layered on top of each other. There's that illusion of transparency that you can kind of see through things. But of course, you know, this banknote you can't really see through in real life. But it creates this like really amazing visual design piece. And then you kind of go into texture, which is kind of like a cousin of layering. You can create a lot of physical texture with design, and it starts with two-dimensional. I would say this is like two-dimensional, kind of going into 3D, because you can actually put your hand on this piece of like mosaic, for example, and feel the 3D texture of it. But it's, of course, it's not a sculpture. It's still on a flat piece of wall, for example. But there's layering going on here. There is a wall behind there. There is layered with some sort of like a, I don't know what they call the material that you would put tiles on, like the sticky material. And then you can kind of like layer more stones on top, or ceramics, or whatever this medallion is made out of. Okay, so there's physical texture that is quite important in a lot of kind of design. It creates visual interest. It has the audience kind of like reach out and want to touch something. Okay, you can also do implied texture, whereas actually if you physically touch this piece, it's going to be flat. But when you're looking at this piece, so this piece of poster, you can kind of like imagine a lot of different kind of textures, right? You have this texture of like squiggly lines, this kind of chaotic like texture. You have very smooth and flat background. That's like a smooth texture. You have this sticky looking painting texture and things of that nature that is really like giving you a lot of feelings of texture without it actually being there. It's like a visual texture.